Let's create. And very briefly, I'm going to show you how to unwrap the flavor of that piece of beef with some chimichurri, Argentinian style. And talking about unwrapping the flavor of that nice piece of beef, why not go with some Worcestershire sauce too? This is actually a chuck roast, but I'm not going to roast it. I'm not going to put it in the pot. I'm going to cook it like meat should be cooked when it comes from a nice cow. This is a nice piece of beef, and I'm going to cook it very deliciously. I'm going to prepare some dipping, and you will see. I'm going to elevate the flavor while keeping it simple. So let's prepare the chimichurri. Very simple. So I have about 1/4 of a cup of apple cider vinegar, 1/4, and 3/4 of sunflower oil. I went with sunflower oil because it has a neutral taste, unlike extra virgin olive oil, which is kind of strong, vegetable oil too. So I want a neutral. That's what I'm using this too. Let me check this here. I have some dry oregano. I put a tiny bit of water on it, to kind of humidize it a little bit. Say I have here about a couple tablespoons, maybe. I have a red hot pepper or chili pepper, just one. I cut it into pieces. This is so simple. This is so simple. I will mix it up here. About 3 or 4 teeth of garlic because I love garlic. Then go crazy. Mix it up well. Have some parsley. You can go Italian parsley too. I had a bunch. Get the stems out, the big stem, cut it out. And this one you do kind of visual. Say about maybe 3 or 4 tablespoons. I chop them, by the way, as you can see. See, they're chopped. Very easy. I didn't video that because this is so simple. And then I have a couple teaspoon of fine salt. No sea salt, the heavy stuff. No, you want it very fine, like kosher. Couple teaspoons, just spread it out. And that's it. Now you have your sauce. Use chimichurri. Let me put a little bit more of this stuff here. That's it. Let it sit. Let it sit. So all this stuff mix. Also allows the dry oregano to get a little bit softer. You know what I mean? Look at this beauty. This is 2.5 pounds. What is that? 40 ounces. This is huge. So what I'm going to do, I'll keep it simple. I pat it dry already. Keep it out the refrigerator. That's about 15-20 minutes. And I'm going to put some sea salt. Going to be relatively generous. And I'm going to rub this baby. Now the salt, what it's going to do, is going to absorb some of the natural liquid from the beef. Especially if you cook it now. So what you're going to do after you put the salt on both sides and what you're going to do is You're going to let it sit out for about 15 minutes, 15 to 20 minutes. That way, the room temperature issue continue, which make this to cook easier, but at the same time, the chemical process reverse, and that salt will re-inject the juices back into the steak. It causes osmosis process in chemistry. So once again, after you put the salt, leave it out for about 15-20 minutes, because at first the salt is going to dry the juices out. It's going to drain them, drying the meat, but then about 15-20 minutes later, it's going to, the juices are going to go back, and it's going to be juicer, tasty and juicer. So that's simple, okay? Get yourself a pan or cast iron, whatever. But this steak is huge, so I have to use this regular pan, medium high for now, and I'm going to put some extra virgin olive oil. And I'm going to preheat this baby. In fact, the pan was already preheating. Now I'm going to put this nice piece of beef. Let me reduce the heat to a notch or so, maybe a couple notches above medium. You just have to make sure the oil is hot. Don't move this baby around, just let cook one side. This is pretty thick, it's about 1.5 inches. So I say maybe 5 minutes on one side, 5 to 6 minutes. So leave it alone, okay? About 6 minutes later, it's a big baby, 2.5 pounds. Few seconds in one side like this. And I'm going to do the same for the other side. And then I'm going to flip it. Here it comes, slowly, carefully. And I think I'm going to cook the other side for about maybe 3 to 5 minutes, okay? Depending on how you want it. Look at this baby. But first, put about 2 or 3 tablespoons of butter. Because you don't want the top to dry. So you melt the butter. Just come here and run those juices. So it remains juicy and nice. You don't want the oil, you want the butter. You want to butter the baby up. See how juicy it's looking? So it's not a dry piece of meat. About 4 or 5 minutes later, it's time to put it to rest. Look at this baby. So I put it on top of aluminum foil. I'm going to cover it a little bit in the aluminum so it continues kind of cooking a little bit internally. And I'm going to let this go for about 8 minutes. Now, roast meat, or pot roast type of meat, they tend to get a little bit harder than regular steak, this kind of cut. That's when the chimichurri and my other dips come into play, and you watch.